right, we're back at it. Made it out here to the area that we are setting up camp in, right next to this big watering hole here. It's kind of a cool area. A lot of the other areas we were looking at were closed off for the season, so came over here, this was open up. It's kind of a burnt out forest. There's probably a wildfire went through here at some point, but we're gonna make the most of it. We're gonna go set up camp and make this our home for the weekend. Probably see the camp way behind me there. I'm just kind of exploring this area, seeing if there's anything cool out here. Like I said, it's definitely a pretty burnt out area of the forest. Yeah, wildfire definitely came through here. You can see all these trees are kind of black and charred. And we're up at a little bit higher of an elevation, so it's a little bit colder, kind of windy right now. So I'm hoping it doesn't get too cold tonight. We're gonna get a fire going here pretty soon, but you know, I definitely want to avoid being too cold at night because I've had a couple trips where that's happened, where if you don't prepare adequately for it, it can be a really long night. It can be pretty rough. And you can kind of see coming up here, there's still some snow on the ground. Yeah, we've had a lot of snowfall this year in Arizona, and it's starting to melt off now. And a lot of the reservoirs and lakes are filling up pretty good with all that melted snow, but there's still some snow on the ground. And that tells me that at night, the temperature around here is probably gonna drop fairly low. So definitely one thing we wanna be prepared for. So there are a ton of animal tracks in the mud near where we're camped. And there's all kinds of animal droppings in this area. So I'm kind of investigating right now, walking around, just kind of following the tracks. They just look like cow tracks, nothing too dangerous. So we're just kind of looking around and seeing if we run into anything. All right, so it's getting a little later in the evening now, starting to get a little colder, so we're out here gathering firewood. We're gonna stock up for the night because it might get pretty chilly out here tonight. And it's a little difficult finding all the wood that we need right now because, like I said before, a wildfire definitely came through this area, burnt up a lot of the trees around here, a lot of the logs that were laying down. And so a lot of the wood that we're trying to pick up is already burnt, or at least partially burned. So it's making it a little more difficult. But I did want to just give one quick tip while I'm out here picking up wood, and that is to basically mix up the variety of like the type of wood that you're picking up, because sometimes you're going to have sticks and logs that are more dense. Some of them are going to be less dense. The thicker ones, the denser ones, those are going to burn slower, but they're a little harder to start the fire with. The smaller ones, the ones that are less dense, those are going to burn faster, but they're easier to start the fire with. So if you kind of mix it up, you get some that are thicker, some that are more dense, some that are less dense. And yeah, just mix up what you're picking up. That's going to make it a lot easier. Always stock up on wood if you're going to need it before it gets dark, because once it gets dark, you really don't want to be out here wandering around, especially in an area like this, which is already creepy enough. So definitely want to stock up before it gets dark and before it gets chilly. You'll thank yourself later. We're gonna stock up on some wood right now, and then I think we're gonna try to cook some dinner, and we're gonna have a chill night. All right, so now we're making dinner. We're making some tilapia and corn on the fire. We're also making some mashed potatoes. As you can hear, there's like frogs or toads at the watering hole that's near us, so that's pretty cool.
Mashed potatoes made on this fancy little grill here, Coleman. All right, so this is the fish we made. Looking pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Some mashed potatoes and corn. Slap the fish right on top. Here's dinner.
So we came over here last night because there were the sounds of all the frogs croaking all night, and it went on for hours. So eventually we grabbed some flashlights, came over here, tried to see if we could see some of them. And as you can see, I got a little bit of footage of some of these little tiny frogs. Must be mating season for them because they just stayed up half the night just croaking. Pretty annoying, but now I'm coming back over here seeing if I can see any of them or any little tadpoles or anything like that. Kind of cool to be camping right next to this watering hole and, you know, get to experience that. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe down at the bottom, and let me know in the comments what you think.